welcome. I thought I would make a little what I eat in a day in a very lazy, lazy day while still eating about 40 grams of fiber. That's the goal that I estimated when I planned this video, and 120 grams of protein, more or less. We will see how hungry, hopefully not hungry I'm gonna be. But that's the rough aim, to show you how easy and very doable it can be to eat enough fiber and protein, which are the most important, you could say, macronutrients there are. You don't have to cook much, you don't have to think about it much, you don't have to spend much time doing it. That's what this video is for, because it doesn't have to be hard. That being said, obviously it's not gonna be the perfect, 100% perfect day nutrition-wise, but it doesn't have to be. Even us nutritionists don't eat perfect every day. I mean, I honestly don't eat perfect most days. 80-20 rule for the win. Let's get started with breakfast because I'm really hungry. I didn't even dry my hair because I want to really have breakfast. So the first thing you can do to make things super easy from the start of your day is to prepare your breakfast the night before, which is not a new idea, I know, but still you can either do it the night before or just, you know, on a Sunday or whatever day you're free and have time and sort of energy, motivation, and prep your breakfast, because then you start the day without already being annoyed by thinking about, or, you know, having to prepare good food. So I usually basically always eat the same thing in the mornings during weekdays, because that reduces decision fatigue. I need coffee. Decision fatigue. And I found my breakfast that I like, and I know that the macros are good and it's tasty, and I can still vary it a little bit, which I do. It's usually some sort of yogurt bowl, either with yogurt or skyr or some other kind of high protein dairy usually. I personally use low-fat Greek yogurt when I use Greek yogurt, simply because, not because I fear fats. Fats are important, but if you have 10% Greek yogurt, for example, which is, I think, the original Greek yogurt, it's very fatty, very creamy, but with that kind of yogurt, in order to get enough protein, aka at least 25 grams of protein, you would have to eat quite a lot. And also, I rather have my fats from unsaturated fats in my breakfast bowl, because I love saturated fats in my lunch and dinner sometimes. So yeah, but you can do whatever you want, obviously. Just sharing my thought process. Okay, so usually I do yogurt, and then I add oats for the carbs and fiber, chia seeds for fats and fiber and a little bit of protein, Ceylon cinnamon, which has nothing to do with fiber, but it's very anti-inflammatory and also blood sugar regulating. Then I also add psyllium husk, which is actually basically pure fiber, and just like oats and chia seeds, it's soluble fiber, which is the type of fiber that many people don't get enough of, actually, because it's not primarily found in vegetables, which people still think is the best source of fiber. Vegetables are good, don't get me wrong, but for fiber, there are better food, more efficient foods. Let's say more efficient foods. And then I add some sort of frozen berries. I mix this up. I mean, sometimes I also use different kinds of frozen fruits, but usually it's berries. Here I'm using mixed berries and some extra blueberries. Little fun fact, raspberries have twice the amount of fiber as blueberries do. Blueberries are obviously still incredibly healthy, but when it comes to fiber, raspberries are basically the king. And then in the morning, I just add a little bit of something on top. Whatever I feel like, basically. And today, since I'm having a lot of black and red currants, which are very sour, I'm gonna do nut butter, because it kind of evens out the sourness, and also it's just yummy. I usually use, well, my favorite, not only, either I use cashew butter or roasted almond butter, which also adds about, depending on how much you use, obviously 1 to 2 grams of fiber and a lot of healthy fats and a lot of tastiness. so good. Yum. Now while we're on the topic of soluble versus insoluble fiber, in case you didn't know, there are two types of fiber, soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. One of the two, the soluble fiber, helps slow digestion, which also helps you stay full for longer, and it helps regulating blood sugar levels and with cholesterol, and also it's very good for your gut bacteria because it feeds them. But soluble fiber is mostly not in things like vegetables and fruits. Some fruits do contain soluble fiber, apples for example, but mostly it's found in things like oats and chia seeds. Also, for example, legumes and beans, which are legumes. While insoluble fiber, you need to support a regular digestion and to, keep things going. And insoluble fiber is a type of fiber that most people usually get enough of, or more enough of. I mean, most people are not getting enough fiber, but that's a more common fiber because it's in, for example, vegetables, although not in that high amounts in wheat, brown rice, nuts, seeds, things like that. Now, most fiber sources contain both types of fiber, just to be clear, but just to give you an idea, to make sure to get different kinds of fibers in your diet. But you don't have to overthink it. If you have a breakfast that contains, for example, chia seeds and oats, you have a good source of soluble fiber. Then maybe have some beans, some sort of legumes in your day, whenever. Then have some fruits and some vegetables, then you have the insoluble fiber too, and you should be good to go. So no need to overthink this, I just wanted to mention. Okay, we're back in my big kitchen. Now it's time for lunch, which is gonna be super quick and super simple and pretty tasty. I'm gonna make sort of a sandwich, just not really a sandwich. We'll do a little trick for a even more nutritious kind of bread. So first I'm using sourdough. Sourdough is usually always the better choice for your gut health. I'm using German rye sourdough, which is even better. It's probably the best kind of bread you can find. And what makes it even healthier is that it's frozen. I just always cut it in, either I let them cut it or I cut it myself in slices, and then I freeze it because, first of all, that way I always have bread available. And also, freezing things like bread or also pasta or rice, for example, turns the starch in the bread, so basically the carbs, into resistant starch, which is not exactly the same as fiber, but it's kind of like fiber. So your gut loves it too. Don't judge me for my dirty toaster. And we're gonna top the toast sandwich, let's call it toast, with a dip that is kind of magical because first of all, it's super easy. Second of all, it's super healthy. Because it's protein rich, because magic cottage cheese, but not only, also it's got the protein from eggs and the fats from eggs and the vitamins from eggs. Eggs are super healthy, also for vitamins. And you can super easily prep this dip, or you can just, make it right then and there. So I already cooked the eggs a couple of days ago because I usually batch cook eggs because you can always have cooked eggs because they're an amazing snack. Or, add on a salad or something, or you can use them for this dip. So you'll need cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs, mustard, and salt and pepper. The mustard is optional, to be honest, it's just for the taste. And I usually use the whole package, which is 200 grams of cottage cheese, but you do you. You can use 1 egg, you can use 2 eggs. 2 eggs is better though to get enough fats, in my opinion. And then we squish the egg. And then we are gonna add in the cottage cheese. And then we add the mustard. Mustard is, by the way, a pretty underrated dip. Do you call it dip? Health-wise. As long as there's not too much unnecessary additives, including sugar in there. And then for veggies, to keep it super simple, we're not gonna cook anything, but we're gonna not cook. Carrots are one of the fiber richest vegetables there are, and also they're very tasty and they're good for your skin too because of vitamin A and your eye health. Do not imitate my style of cutting this. This is the very lazy version, but of course use a cutting board. And then next to the carrot, we are gonna, to have a little bit of variety, we're gonna add olives, Kalamata olives, which are my favorite types of olive oil. Well, unless I'm eating green olives, but you know, Kalamata is very tasty and they're very healthy, full of healthy fats because, you know, olive oil comes from olives, so olives are a wonderful addition. And one of the most underrated vegetables for many things, but also for fiber, artichokes, artichoke hearts, or whole artichokes if you want to cook them. But if you don't want to cook them, buy them in a glass where they're already cooked. Just as always, make sure, if possible, that there's no stupid additives. This is just artichoke hearts in salt water. Yum. And then, as always, a little bit of kimchi. This is beetroot kimchi, so it's just fermented beetroot. It's a German brand. I can really recommend it. But any fermented vegetable works. The plate is too small. And since we're running out of bread space, I'm just gonna eat the rest right out the bowl because why not? A full little plate of yummy little things, and this much fiber and this much protein. And it took me, I don't know, not even 10 minutes to make. So, and it's super yummy. It's really good. There's a reason why everybody's putting cottage cheese on everything. It's just magic. And now is a little dessert and polyphenol boost, and also a little tiny protein, healthy fats, and fiber boost. Dark chocolate. Hello again. Now it is time for dinner. I've been working way too intensely, so I really need food, although I'm not really hungry. It's not a good sign. You should eat even if you're not hungry, because when you're not hungry, that is just a sign. Well, after having worked a lot, that's probably a sign that you're stressed, and food helps de-stress a little bit, especially carbs. So we are gonna do fiber carbs. Fiber is carbs. So pasta, but a special kind of pasta that gives us a bit more micronutrients and fiber than regular pasta, but is just as delicious. Kind of. A little bit different, to be honest, but still good. Now this dinner is one of my absolute go-tos. It is so easy to do when you're lazy. It's still fiber rich and you can combine it with so many things. We're doing lentil pasta, to give you a little spoiler. And you can obviously always use regular pasta. Even the white pasta is not poison. Or just whole grain pasta, which is also very healthy, very nutritious if you can handle gluten. But lentil pasta just gives you different kinds of micronutrients. And you can just eat it as regular pasta. So with pasta sauce, I love tomato pasta, so I do this a lot, but you get a lot more protein. So you basically don't even need an extra protein source because the pasta is your protein source. And that's, first of all, good because we love protein, and second of all, easy because then you just really have to cook the pasta and the sauce. And that's it. And we love easy, especially today because I'm really not feeling like cooking. And it's a little snack. You can mock me if you want to. Sometimes I just love this as a snack. I'm gonna have a pickle or two. because I love pickles. Oh, and one more thing that I really need to mention in this video. Sorry, I was just trying to hide my glass because it's so disgusting. Because it's very kalkish. How do you say it? When you have very hard water. I have that in my hotel. It's very clean, but it's got a lot of, I don't know what the word is in English. This is the word. So my glasses are always so white, even though they're clean. They're just so clean. But what I was going to say is that this is very important. Not the non-clean glasses, but the water, because the more fiber you eat, the more water you need. It's very, very important, especially when you start eating more fiber. If you don't also increase your water intake, or aren't already drinking enough, you won't feel so good. So hydrate always, but especially when you are eating a lot of fiber. I also want to mention, because with this dinner we're gonna cross the 40 grams of fiber mark, which is good because fiber is good, but it's a lot of fiber. So especially if you haven't been eating a lot of fiber, try to increase slowly, because otherwise your gut is gonna suffer. We love fiber, your gut loves fiber, but it's still a lot of work for your gut. So try to increase it slowly. Don't go from 10 grams of fiber up to 40 grams of fiber in a day. You also don't need 40 grams of fiber. Good rule of thumb is between 25 and 35 grams. But if your gut can handle it, 40 is probably also not going to be bad. Sorry, this is the steam from the boiling water, where I will put the pasta in now. And then as a sauce, like I said, we're doing convenience today. I'm using a pre-made pasta sauce, tomato sauce. I love tomato sauce. And obviously this is not as nutritious as if you would do it yourself with either fresh tomatoes or canned tomatoes. Canned tomatoes are actually underrated. They tend to have a lot of vitamins still in there, kind of surprisingly, I think. These kind of sauces often do not, but today we don't care about this. It's still tomatoes, it's still good, it's still delicious. The only thing I would recommend you to care about a little bit when you buy these things is to look at the ingredient lists, as always. And it's not complicated. Just try to look for a short ingredient list. I know I have it easier in Germany. If you live in the States, they put so much shit in there. But also there you can find really, really good ones. And in most other countries, I think it's even easier. I try to look for pasta sauce that does not have any sugar added, because I don't like the sweet tomato sauces. It's like, it's more normal than not to have sugar in there, but I really don't like it. It's so not necessary, because usually tomatoes are sweet by themselves. So yeah, that's the main thing I look for. And also to have it, I try to find the sauce that has olive oil and not other oils. I'm not gonna start the oil discussion here, but also taste-wise, olive oil is the best. And this one has herbs in there. I'm gonna add my own herbs, because herbs, condiments, however you want to call them, and spices are a super easy way to level up your health game, because they add things like antioxidants, taste, sometimes anti-inflammatory functions to your food, and that's what we like, especially if it's as easy as just pouring in some thing like oregano or basil or chili flakes, which is so tired, which is what I will add to my sauce to spice this up even more. But also, if you're a little more motivated, you could, this is what I would do if I'm a little more motivated, is to add a little bit of extra veggies to the sauce. So I would probably fry some onion or maybe a zucchini or something like that in olive oil. Fry, not cook. I think you said cook. Steam, whatever. Heat up, and then add the sauce so that you have some fresh vegetables and sauce. Still kind of easy, but now I'm doing super easy. It's always helpful to rinse the lentil pasta or chickpea pasta, because that makes it a teeny bit easier to digest. as a little side tip. Then some olive oil for some extra healthy fats, because in the sauce itself there's not that much oil. Now we just heat this up, and then we add the pasta back in, and we swirl it around, and then it's done. But it's not fully done yet, because now we're gonna add some parmesan for the extra protein, extra fats, extra yumminess. So I personally like the flakes better than when it's grated, because you can snack it. No, mainly because of that, honestly. But you know, you choose whatever you like best. And here we have it. Very convenient, and obviously lacking a little bit of vegetables, but this is fine. And for something not perfect, this is still pretty decent. And it's packing and more than 30 grams of protein. So we're happy. Yay! And now, as a dessert slash sleep helper, in Germany you call it betthupferl, or you could call it betthupferl, kiwi. This little magic thing first helps you sleep, because preliminary research shows that it might help with melatonin production, aka your sleep hormone, but also it's super fiber rich, especially if you eat it with the skin. Now this is this green screevy I'm tired. Green kiwi, which is even more hairy than the golden one. It's not really focusing on the hair. It's very fluffy. I just washed it, so it doesn't look as fluffy. It's very important when you eat it with skin to wash it thoroughly. But then I even eat the green kiwis with skin, and you'll get used to it. But start with the golden ones with skin, and then switch to the green ones, because they're hairy. But I don't care at this point anymore. But yeah, you can just this way it's also easier than if you have to eat it with a spoon or something. Yeah, that was what I ate on a very lazy day, yet super fiber rich day and protein rich as always. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful and inspirational, and are now a little less intimidated about hitting your fiber and protein goals. Let me know in the comments if you want another specific what I eat in a day or something like that. And I will hopefully see you in my next video. Take care.